Dear little dude, hello little man. It has been 3 weeks since we last recorded an episode and we last had the chance to talk. It may not be 3 weeks that these episodes are separated, but it's been 3 weeks. And in fact, in those 3 weeks, we have had 2 milestones come and go. So the first one is that last week you were the size of a pumpkin, so we called you Jack O'Lantern, which was pretty good. And then this week we gave up, you're the size of a watermelon, and so we reverted back to the first name that we ever had for you when we called this whole maternity project Project Baby Cakes, which is actually the name of our Wi-Fi network as well. The password, and I'm just going to say it because who's going to come to my house and steal the Wi-Fi? The password is, it's going to be twins, because when we didn't know what you were or how many you were, it was the funniest thing in the world to me to say that you were going to be twins. Your mom disagreed. She didn't find that as funny, but I found it hilarious, and that's what's important. So you were not twins. You're a 40-pound... I don't know how much you weigh. You're not 40 pounds. I hope to God you're not 40 pounds. Your mom will literally murder me. You are a 40-week along boy, and actually, as of this Wednesday, you are overdue, little man. You are late. And I put that on Instagram, so they said, it's just an estimate. And yeah, I know that due dates are just an estimate, but you know what? When you've been waiting 40 weeks, it feels like the little dude should make his way out because your mom and I are ready for it. And that brings us to the topic of today's little conversation with you, which is anxiety. Anxiety is one of the dominating emotions and dominating experiences of my life. And I didn't even always know that it was called anxiety. When I was little, I was just always thought about things, always nervous. I remember when your Uncle Michael and I were kids, we used to have bunk beds. We had bunk beds in each of our rooms, but we chose to sleep in the same room because it's bunk beds. Who wouldn't want to do that? And I remember when we would go to sleep, your uncle would go to sleep just like that. He would just conk right out. And I would be up for an hour or more afterwards just contemplating the universe. I would be thinking about what happens when we die, and what happens if I get in a marriage that ends in divorce, and what happens if I fail, and what happens if people don't like me. And I did that when I was very, very young, like 5 or 6, I had memories of staying up contemplating those things. When I was a kid, I used to sleep with a pillow over my head so that I could try to block out all of the other noises and thoughts, because I was just an anxious kid. I was afraid of ghosts, I was afraid of failure, I was afraid of people not liking me. And anxiety has been the dominating emotion of my life. And I'm telling you that, little man, because likely you are going to have some anxiety too. You're going to have anxiety because it's a stressful world out there. We have so much more information about the world than we've ever had before. It's easy to be anxious when you know more than you used to. It's easy to be anxious when you know about climate change, and when you know about the Supreme Court, and when you know about all of those other things that seem to be really important and really big and you have very, very little, if any, control over. And so you'll probably have some anxiety about that. You'll also probably have anxiety because you got some of my brain in there and you got some of your mom's brain in there. And at least my brain is wired for anxiety. Your mom's a little bit less so, but we've both been anxious in our lives. And so I just want to talk with you a little bit about that as we are anxiously waiting your arrival. Today is Saturday. You were due 3 days ago, and we're just sitting around waiting for you to make your way out. Could be today, could be tomorrow. It won't be later than Wednesday because they're going to induce you on Wednesday. So, little man, we do have a modicum of control, or at least that's what we tell ourselves. But I want to, as I talk about that, just let you know that, first of all, I can't cure your anxiety. I'm sorry. I can't. I wish I could. But what I can tell you is something that my dad didn't tell me when I was growing up, which is there's medication for it. And it's totally fine to take it. One of my favorite quotes in the world is, if you can't make your own neuroreceptors, store-bought works just fine. I have been on a little magical medication called citalopram for several years. I got on it at the behest of your mom, who's a very smart lady, and it has completely changed my life. It doesn't mean that I'm numbed out. It just means that what used to be up and down is a lot more even now. It's a lot more manageable. The highs and lows are more manageable. But the other thing that I just want to tell you is something that I'm working on a lot, which is just trying to concentrate more on the things that you can control and that matter, and less on the things that don't. And how can you tell what are the things that matter? The things that matter are going to last for a long time. The things that matter are going to be central to your person and to the people who are closest to you and care the most about you. And the things that matter the most to you are going to be the things that you just naturally have the energy and inclination to go toward. And there are a lot of things that don't matter, or a lot of things that do matter, but that you don't have any control over, and so it's easier to just not put as much effort into thinking about them. And that seems in our society sort of neglectful. Like if I say I try to spend less time thinking about climate change, that seems sort of irresponsible. And maybe it is, but here's what I know, and here's what I've come to learn, is that when I think a lot about it, I get really stressed. And it doesn't fix anything, it just adds stress to me. And three, I can still do things that are good for the environment, that are sustainable, that are conscious of the future, and not worry all the time about things that I can't control. I'm reading a book right now called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bleep. I wish I could. There are children that watch this little dude, including maybe you, so that's why I'm not going to say what the bleep is. But the bleep starts with an F word. Starts with an F. And one of the things that it said that I really resonated with me is it's the idea that you have a limited amount of energy that you can dedicate to things. And one of the things that you need to understand is that the world is pretty irreparably, permanently the way that it is, and you are probably not going to change it. We spend a lot of time saying you're going to go out there and change the world, and maybe you will. I hope you do. You'll probably change it in really small ways, though, and that's okay. I think it's healthier for you to understand the limits of what not only you're able to do, but what you're responsible for doing. Maybe you will change the world, little man, but it's not your job. It's not your sole purpose. You didn't earn this world that you've walked into, and there's very little that you can do to change it. And when you accept that, hopefully it makes you just a little bit less anxious. But the last thing I'll tell you, little dude, is that if you do get anxious, I'm here for you. I will try to hear your anxiety. I'll try to be there for you. I'll try to acknowledge it. I won't tell you to not be anxious, because that doesn't solve anything. But I'll be here to listen to you and to try to be a good parent when you're having those times. And maybe I'll screw up. I don't know. I will say that already you're not here yet, and already you've been a tremendous driver of anxiety in my life, but you are one of the things that matters, and so you're worth that anxiety. So whether you come today or tomorrow, or whether we make you come kicking and screaming on Wednesday, I'm excited for you to be a part of our lives. And I love you very much. That's so much more keenly in my mind right now as you are you are imminent. You will be a separate human, not just something living inside your mother, but you will be something that is, it's coming, that's here, that's your own separate human with your own separate face, your own separate emotions, and your own separate anxieties. And I'm here to love all of it, and I do love you very much. So as we wrap up today, the dad joke for the week is, what is every mother's favorite make of car? Moz, duh. Moz. It's Moz. Duh. I don't know. Maybe that one's not very good, but that's the point of a dad joke. It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be said enthusiastically. So if you are not little dude and you're watching this, blah, 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 like, comment, subscribe. I hope that you get something out of this. And if you do, watch more of them, because I'm going to keep making them little dude comes. I'm going to be talking about what it's like when he is in the world and I'm a parent of a week-old, and a 2-week-old, and a 3-week-old. And I'm going to still do this, and it only really matters if little dude watches, but I get the feeling that probably it's pretty enjoyable for you as well if you're still watching this. So like, comment, subscribe, share it with folks, do all those things. You're welcome to send me a message on any social media. You can email me at curtis@beyondconsultingllc.com if you have anything that you'd like to discuss. But little dude, come out healthy, come out with all your brain wrinkles, come out with all your fingers and toes. That's always a weird one that people say, by the way. Like, if you came out with 9 fingers, I wouldn't be that upset about it. I'd be like, weird, but okay. I think there are a lot of other things that are way more important than the right number of fingers and toes. But I do love you, and I'm excited to meet you, and the next time I record one of these, you will be out, and you will have a name, and an identity, and a face, and I will be holding you, and I will be exhausted. I love you very much, and I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Thanks.